Hi, home bakers! Today I'm in the kitchen making easy, foolproof croissants. With these homemade light as air croissants, you can bring the elegance of the Parisian bakery right to your own home. These have the perfect buttery, flaky layers and feather light softness. These croissants might be the epitome of homemade pastry perfection. These croissants are a French bakery indulgence you can make at home. That's right, you have everything you need at home to make the best pillowy soft bakery croissant. So let's get into the kitchen. This is how I make homemade foolproof croissants. To start this recipe, I'm going to make the dough. The dough is called Détrempe. It can take a couple of days to make croissants. You really cannot rush the process and expect to get the perfect croissant in the end. In the bowl of a stand mixer with the dough hook attachment, or in a large bowl if you're making the recipe by hand, add 3/4 of a cup of warm water, 3/4 of a cup of milk, and a 1/4 cup of sugar. Mix to dissolve the sugar and then add in 2 1/4 teaspoons or 1 packet of dry active yeast. Wait for a few minutes to allow the yeast to soften and become foamy. Then I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of salt and 3 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to mix this with the dough hook until I have a smooth dough. Then knead in 2 tablespoons of soft butter. I'm then going to mix this for a few minutes to form the smooth dough. I alternate between the slowest speed of the mixer to 1 or 2 speeds up to mix the dough fully. This will take about 5 minutes if you're using a stand mixer or 8 minutes if you're kneading the dough by hand. Then I'm going to cover it and allow it to rest for 30 minutes. Now that the dough has rested and puffed up, I'm going to spread it out onto a lined baking sheet. I'm just using plastic wrap here, and I'm going to spread the dough out with my hands into a rectangle. I'm going to cover it again with a piece of plastic wrap and let it rest and rise for 1 1/2 hours. After that, I'm going to pop it into the refrigerator to chill for 1 hour. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to make the beurrage, which is the butter layer. The best croissants are made with high-fat butter. Using anything low-fat will not work as well. And of course, I'm using softened butter here to form into a square. To form the square quickly and easily, I like to just place plastic wrap inside of an 8-inch square casserole dish and squish the butter out evenly into the dish to form the easy square. Then I'm going to place the butter into the refrigerator to chill slightly. If I leave the butter too soft, it's going to ooze out everywhere when I'm rolling it between the layers. When I'm ready to roll, the dough and the butter should be firm but still pliable. Now that my dough has chilled for 1 hour, I'm going to remove it from the refrigerator and place the chilled butter in the center of the dough square. I like to turn mine so it looks kind of like a diamond shape. Then I can fold the corners of the dough over the butter layer and press to completely seal it in. Now that my butter is completely encased in the dough, I'm going to do the first roll. And I'm just doing this on a lightly floured counter. I'm going to roll the dough into a long rectangle. I'm just pressing the rolling pin evenly along the dough first to help it roll out evenly with the butter. I'm aiming to roll the dough out about 3 times the width of the cookie sheet that I'm going to be resting it on. And this is just to make sure after the folds that it fits back onto the cookie sheet. Now my dough is rolled out into this long rectangle and I'm going to fold it into thirds. This is going to give me 3 laminated layers of butter and dough. Cover and place it back into the refrigerator for 4 hours or overnight. Now my dough has rested and has puffed up slightly. Remove it from the refrigerator and I'm going to roll it out the opposite way that I did last time. And once again, onto a lightly floured surface, I'm going to roll it out into a large rectangle. This time you can roll it out to 3 or even 4 times the width of the cookie sheet. And then fold the dough into thirds or fourths depending on how long you've rolled the dough. Then place it back onto the cookie sheet, cover, and place it into the refrigerator for 4 hours or overnight. This process is called laminating the dough, and it's going to build all those delicate layers inside of the croissants after they're baked. To finish this process, I'm going to need to roll it out and fold 1 to 2 more times, the exact same way that we've been doing. After the final roll, make sure to allow the dough to rest and rise in the fridge for at least 8 hours or overnight. As you can see, my dough is nicely puffed up here and it's ready to roll out and make croissants. This time, on a lightly floured surface, I'm going to roll the dough out into a very large rectangle. Then you can either use a pizza cutter or a knife. You're going to cut it into 12 triangles. In the bottom of each triangle, I'm just going to make a 1-inch cut. And to form these into croissants, I'm going to take the triangle and slightly pull apart the center slit. Gently roll it upwards onto itself to form the croissant. I'm going to place all of the croissants spread out onto a lined cookie sheet. Make sure to press down and have the tip of each triangle at the bottom of the dough so they don't unravel as they rise. Now, before baking, I need to proof the croissants. It's important to give them enough time to rise. The temperature of the environment can make proofing time vary. It's a good idea to go by the look, not just the time alone. Your croissants should just about double in size and should be very soft and puffy. This should take about 2 hours. Now my croissants have puffed up and are ready to bake. And to get that deeply golden, crispy outside crust, I'm going to first brush them with an egg wash. I'm going to crack an egg into a small bowl and beat it with a fork. Then I can use my pastry brush to completely cover the outside of the dough with the egg wash. I'm making sure to be super gentle while I'm brushing on the egg wash to make sure I don't deflate any of the croissants. However, this step is optional, and if you don't prefer to use an egg wash, you can substitute it with high-fat cream. And my croissants are now ready to go into my preheated 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius oven and bake for 10 minutes. I'm then going to reduce the temperature to 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius and bake for another 15 minutes or until deeply golden. Remove from the oven and serve warm. You can serve these croissants plain, dipped into hot chocolate, with a smear of jam or alongside your morning cup of coffee for a simple morning luxury. Everyone in our house loves this croissant recipe, so we make them pretty often. I usually split this recipe in thirds and make half of them plain croissants, cheese, and the other third pain au chocolat, or chocolate croissants. And you can check out how to make those recipes if you click on the link below. Enjoy! If you're a fan of deliciously simple vintage recipes and old-fashioned skills, then you'll want to check out this next video. Thanks for stopping by.